Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our Year 6 Open Evening, the virtual Open Evening everyone's been waiting for over the last couple of months. And we're here ready to display everything that's amazing about our school and remarkable, just so you are fully aware when you're making your choices for secondary schools in the next couple of weeks, that why it is that you might want to be selecting Bexleyheath Academy. So just a bit of housekeeping. If it is that you've got any questions that you would like to ask any one of the team or generally would like the answer to a particular question, there is a number that you can text. And Miss Shadow, if we could put that number on the screen, that'd be great. So if you grab a pen and piece of paper, if you have any questions, you can text your question to the following telephone number. That's 0777 659 3521. And I'm just going to leave it on the screen there just for a couple of seconds, just so you've got an opportunity to write it down, or just take out your phones and take a picture of the screen so you've got that number ready to go should you have any questions. Miss, I think we're ready to move on. So you might be wondering, who is this wonderful woman on the screen at this point in time? My name is Rebecca Luther, and I'm the principal of Bexleyheath Academy. And I'll be starting off this wonderful presentation, but I've got a team of people ready to talk to you about the different aspects of our school at Bexleyheath Academy. The first thing I want everyone to know about is our core values. So Miss, if you just put up the core values there, ready to go, so everyone can see them in their full glory. When we talk about our core values, we want our students, our staff members, and our parents and local community members to really embody them. We want our students to be unusually brave when they come to the academy. We want them to discover what's possible. We want them to push their limits, and we want them to be big-hearted. Miss, next slide, please. Now, the biggest question people always ask is, well, actually, Miss Luther, Bexleyheath Academy is great in the local community. We see you on the high street all the time. You're meeting and greeting with students. We're making sure that students are getting home safely. But academically, how is your school performing? And that's a really, really good question to ask. So the exam results for summer 2023 are as follows. We got 64% of our students got a 4+ in English and mathematics. And we're waiting for some remark results to come back. And that's going to hopefully push us over the 70 mark. And that will be the best set of results that we've had over the course of the last 10 years. Now, that's 4+, and 4+ means that's pass, basically. And for those of you that are thinking, well, actually, that's not how I was graded when I was growing up, that is your C grade. Now, you might be thinking, well, actually, do you get any higher than that? And yes, we do. So 42% of our students got a 5+. So 42% of our students in their GCSEs got a 5+. Our key stage results are on screen as follows. I'm just going to give you an opportunity just to have a look through those. So our average grade for our A-level students is a C grade. And just you might be thinking there's a lot of numbers on there, Miss, and that's quite jargon. But C grade is a standard pass. It's a really good grade for our A-level students. When it comes to vocational subjects, our merit level for our smaller subjects is the average grade. And for our larger subjects, which is the equivalent of 2 A-levels, is a distinction plus. So that's an amazing set of results. The highest one you can actually get, which is absolutely fantastic. The next question I always get asked as a principal is, well, what does your curriculum offer look like? What are students going to be studying at Bexleyheath Academy? And at Bexleyheath Academy, we have a remarkable broad and balanced curriculum, because what we want students to do is experience a range of different subjects so they're familiar with the different possible outcomes that they can have in life, whether it be being a pilot or if it is that they're interested in working for the council. We need to provide them every opportunity to look at the different subjects that they could possibly study and the different pathways that they can take. Miss Shallow, if you can just switch to the next slide, please, that'd be great. So broad and balanced curriculum. And you might ask a question, well, actually, Miss, what does balanced mean? Well, we don't go heavily when it comes to academic subjects, and the academic subjects you might be thinking, well, what are they? Well, that would be your history, your geography, your sociology. We have a balanced curriculum. So we do have the creative arts, so music, drama, creative medias. We've also got design and technology, IT, business. So in terms of all the subjects that we have, all of our students will experience them over the course of year 7, year 8, and year 9. And by the end time that they get to year 9, they would have experienced every possible opportunity for GCSE options that we have available to them. So therefore, they can start making informed decisions when they move forward. Now, when students get to the end of year 9 and move on to year 10, all of our students will take an EBAC route. And what that means is that they are going to have to take English, maths, and science. That's a non-negotiable. Everyone will do that. They'll also do Spanish and then select between a history or geography and then pick 2 additional subjects in addition to that. And that could be anything from your art, drama, design and technology, information technology as well. Now, when we're talking about DT, some of our primary schools don't have much experience of DT, but I'd like to tell everyone, because I'm really proud of this, that our DT results were the strongest in the local borough. And our DT options that we have at GCSE are engineering, graphics, and you also have food technology. So just something to be super proud of. And students have an experience of that from year 7 moving onwards. Now, we've got our core subjects, so that's English, maths, and science. That's what everyone will experience throughout their 5 years here. You've got your non-core subjects, so students will study humanities, MFL, art, drama, music, design, technology, and innovation and technology. And we have also got our holistic curriculum. So that's above and beyond your academic progress. We've got PE, we've got personal development, and we also have a large array of extracurricular activities, which Mr. Chowdhury is so proud of, and he's going to be excited to talk to you about later on. So that's the curriculum diet that we have for our year 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, and 11s. Miss, next slide, please. Now, teaching and learning at Bexleyheath Academy, what does that look like? And everyone always asks, Miss, is it true that you get a Chromebook when you join Bexleyheath Academy? And it's true, and it's not because we're giving you a fancy gadget at all. That's not what it's about. We truly believe that the electronic device of a Chromebook enhances the learning experience for all of our students. So not only are they able to access all of their subjects for the matter of and I'll lift one up over here from this wonderful device here. Gone are the days where we have to break our backs carrying books for every single subject. We've got everything we need at our fingertips for each subject. So it allows revision to take place much more seamlessly. But it also allows differentiation to take much more seriously and seamlessly within the lessons. So what you'll often find is that teachers will produce a video that goes alongside their lesson. And I'll give you an example of one of my engineering lessons because I'm an engineer. And it might be the case that I'm teaching ergonomics and anthropometrics, and students have to understand what the difference between the two is and how that helps to produce really great engineered products. But I might then produce a video alongside it with the explanation of what ergonomics is versus what anthropometrics is. And students then have that knowledge at their fingertips. So should it be the case that they want to go ahead and go back and look at that information because they've forgotten or they can't quite remember at a part of the lesson what the difference might be, they can go ahead and view videos. It might be the case that there will be a shared document that students will use in order to conduct group work. But it's quite an, I would say, amazing experience to have a Chromebook. And as Spider-Man once said, with great power comes great responsibility. There's lots of responsibility that comes with having that Chromebook ready to go, and we expect to be brought to the Academy every single day. We also expect you to take it home because all of our homework is digital, and I'll talk to you more about that. In terms of our lessons, we've got 4 lessons that take place throughout the course of the day. Each of them is 75 minutes in length, and you might be thinking, well, actually, yes, that's quite a long time for a lesson. But no, we've been doing this for a very long time now, and it's the recipe for the perfect lesson. Not only do you have an opportunity to learn new content, you've got the opportunity to go ahead and assess a student in that particular topic, and then also just making sure that you consolidate learning for previous topics. And I'll go through a lesson cycle with you. We also have 20 minutes of reading every single day. 20 minutes of reading. We introduced that in this academic year because we wanted our students to be more confident when it came to reading, because that has an impact on everything that they do. And it's important for us as an academy that the chronological reading age and their ability to read matches, because the impact it will have is students might not be able to engage with some of the lessons. It might be that their exam performance is lower because they're not able to access the questions. And that's one way that we are going to eradicate that problem completely for our students, is by having 20 minutes of reading for year 7s all the way up to year 11s every single day, 20 minutes a day. Now, we have a consistent lesson structure, which I'm just about to go through. And so therefore, that makes it easier for students to know exactly what's expected of them at different stages of the lesson. And it's the same thing in every lesson. So you're repeating it 4 times over. We also value the procedures and policies within our school because we have a disruption-free learning experience. And Ms. Dell will be talking through exactly what that looks like later on in this presentation. So I'm just going to talk you through our lesson structure at Bexleyheath Academy. Miss, next slide, please. So as students enter the lesson, and Miss, if you could just hover your wonderful mouse over the checking activity. So as soon as students enter the classroom, there'll be an activity on the board for them to complete. They're usually going to be diagnostic questions for students that will assess their learning in a previous topic. It might be there's 2 questions, one from lesson 1 that took place at the start of the term, and another one might be from lesson 4. And the reason why we do that is we want them to be able to recall that information as frequently and as easily as possible. So when it gets to an assessment, they can bring it to the forefront of their mind quite easily because we've gone back and revisited it quite often. So that's the first thing that happens. The next thing that happens is that we have a checkout review. And I'll actually step back a few steps once I got towards the end to explain what a checkout review is. So we'll park that section for a minute. The teacher will then go ahead and teach the content. We'll go ahead and complete a checkpoint to make sure that students have understood the content. And if it is the case that for whatever reason that we need to go back and revisit that piece of content again, the teacher will take a step back and reteach it if needed. And actually, if they are, they've confirmed that everyone knows exactly what they should, they'll move on to the next stage and apply that knowledge. What will then happen is at the end of the lesson, every single student at Bexleyheath Academy in the last 5 minutes will complete what we call a checkout. So there'll be 5 to 10 questions based on what they've learned in that current lesson that will assess their learning. And what teachers will do with that information is, well, if there is a gap in the learning, so for example, let's go back to my previous example of ergonomics. Imagine my students at the end of the lesson didn't quite know what ergonomics still meant. Well, that means that I need to reteach that content. And so you might remember when I talked about checkout review, that's the opportunity for the teacher to go back and say, well, actually, guys, only 45% of you understood what ergonomics means. And so therefore, we're just going to spend 2 or 3 minutes going over what ergonomics means again. And then I can assess you just to assure myself that everyone has got this piece of information. So that's our basic lesson structure that takes place in every single lesson. Next slide, please, Miss. All of our homework is on a digital platform. Currently, the only homework that needs to be completed is in English, maths, and science. I repeat, English, maths, and science. And something I want to make very, very clear, you might be thinking, well, actually, you've got all the other subjects to think about. Well, they're the ones that we focus on in order to consolidate the knowledge in year 7, 8, and 9. It's very important for us that all of our students have the similar sort of understanding before they go to year 10 to minimize any gaps between our students. And the great thing about the digital platforms is that you will get instant feedback. So you can see as a parent how well your child has done and what areas that they potentially need to go back and revisit those questions or revisit that topic. The great thing about the learning platform is it's not just a series of questions that students need to answer. And we've got 2 of the platforms that we use, Tasmai and MathsWatch currently, and they're set to change potentially to all Tasmai next academic year. But that's just a surprise for the future. But what happens is that students will have the opportunity to learn that piece of content again. So all the homework is based on what they've already learned. So for example, if the questions or topic is about I'm going to pick a random one off my head, cells and nucleuses, for example, and they might then go ahead and, well, actually, I've totally forgotten that piece of information. It's not a problem whatsoever. So there'll be videos to support the students so they can reteach the content to themselves and then be assessed on that content. And like I said, you'll be able to find out exactly how well they've performed at the end of the completion or during the completion as well. So lots of support to make sure that homework is as accessible as it can be for every student, regardless of your ability. So if it is that you've got SEND students, that's even more helpful to have those videos to watch before you start completing those questions. Next slide, please, Miss. So I spoke about Spider-Man previously. With great power comes great responsibility. And we embrace technology at Bexleyheath Academy because we really, truly believe that it enhances the learning experiences of our students. So you will be given a Chromebook, and I'm already placed an order for 330 for our new year 7. So we've got them ready to go when you start with us in September 2024. As I've mentioned previously, your Chromebooks will be taken home so you can go ahead and do your homework, but it's your responsibility to make sure they're charged and brought back to the academy. Now, parents have always asked us, well, how do you make sure that my child is safe whilst they're using the Chromebook? Don't need to worry at all. Our filtration systems are amazing because whatever they type on the Chromebook, we will see it and it flags up if there's any sort of inappropriate or activity that should not be taking place. And we inform parents about that activity taking place. And sanctions are awarded should it be a case that we deem it needed at that point in time. Next slide, please. Now, another question people are always interested in asking the principal every year is, well, what are your key focuses? And people might often say, well, actually, everything is my key focus. But let me talk you through what our 5 key focuses are across the academy. Attendance, to ensure that attendance is above national average and local averages, and there are no disadvantaged gaps. And what that means for us is that if it is that your child is not in the academy for whatever reason, we are going to make a call home just to find out how they are, because we've got a duty of care to all of our students and all of our parents as well. If it is that there are any barriers for you to coming to the academy, then we'll also support you with those barriers, whatever it might be. Maybe a friendship issue at school, maybe it is the fact that you can't actually get to school because you can't afford the transport, whatever the reason might be, we are there ready to help you. You've got a pastoral manager that's going to help you. You've got family liaison team that will help you out there as well to reduce any issues that you might be facing where coming to school might be a barrier, or there might be a barrier to you coming towards the school. Our next priority is SEND and EAL provisions to ensure that all students make excellent and exceptional progress, especially those that are SEND and EAL. So there's no gap between our SEND and our non-SEND students. And all of our teachers work furiously to make sure that their lessons are differentiated for students in order to make sure that there's no barriers to their success as well. Leadership. Leadership is effective as leaders at all levels hold colleagues to account for the implementation of codified examples of excellence. Well, you might be thinking, well, what does that actually mean, Ms. Luther? That means that we are checking our leaders, and our leaders are checking their teachers to make sure they're planning remarkable lessons for your child to come to the academy, that they're making sure that any barriers to learning are removed, that they're making sure that there's a culture of fun and engagement in the lessons. So there's no reason why someone might say, oh, I don't want to go to that maths lesson. Well, no, we're going to make sure it's fun, and we're going to ensure that the planning is there before you get there as well. The next priority is reading, to ensure that all students are fluent readers who love reading. And the simple answer is 20 minutes of reading every single day to help create that culture of reading, and hopefully when people walk away, they'll be reading for pleasure. But also you've got an awareness of different aspects of reading. And I know that we will talk about that at great length as you join the academy. So one of the stories that the students are reading, and Mr. Chowdhury, you can chime in here. Year 7, what book are they reading for reading? What book are they reading for reading period, sir?
They're reading Harry Potter. Some of the students are, yeah.
Fantastic. And we've got books that everyone are going to read on particular days, just to kind of encourage them to explore different types of texts, but also texts that people will be talking about for years to come as well. We've also got reading days where we focus on current affairs, but we also focus our reading periods also on skills. So one day we might focus on grammar, another day we might focus on vocabulary. The last one is quality of education. So teaching is consistently excellent, leading to excellent student progress and attainment. Well, let's face it, teacher performance has a direct correlation to student outcomes. And so therefore, what students can expect is myself, other members of the team will walk into lessons quite comfortably just to quality assure the teaching that is taking place in that particular lesson, and giving feedback to those teachers continuously. So the learning experience is enhanced and improved at every step of the way. Now, I'm just going to go back to a slide that we saw just earlier. So if it is that you've got any questions at this point in time based on anything that I've said, Ms. Ciara, if you can go ahead and flip the slide. Please go ahead and text your questions to this telephone number. So 0777 6593521. That's it from me at this point in time. I'm now going to hand over to our Vice Principal, Ms. Delver. Over to you, Ms. Delver.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Ms. Lufa. My name is Ms. Delva. I'm Vice Principal for what we call Remarkable Character. Now, I just want to explain a little bit what it means, although when I do my presentation, you'll have a clear idea what it means. But what I'm responsible for is making sure that students have the perfect behavior for learning, supporting the students who have behavior are not quite sure well yet how to behave to enhance their learning. I'm also responsible for the well-being of our students, so everything that has to do with well-being and mental health and safeguarding I'm also responsible for. And we don't just sanction pupils, we also reward pupils, so I'm also responsible for everything that has to do with rewarding our lovely students for the remarkable characters and work. Next slide, please, Miss. Thank you very much. So, just so you understand what our role really looks like when you're part of the leadership team at Bexleyheath Academy. We want to make sure that all of our students are looked after. So that's why you see here pastoral care and well-being, and it starts at the gate. Every morning, you'll have members of the senior leadership team at the gate, welcoming students, making sure they've got everything ready for the day, checking that they've got the equipment, the uniform is looking perfect, they're in the right state of mind, and ready to go to have a fantastic and productive day. We are also there. Is there any concern or anything that they want to share with us? We are also there to sort of guide them and support them, either to the right person who's going to help them, or just talk to them and support them if it is that we can support at this stage. Okay. Talking about support, you will have a pastoral manager. It means you can go back. You have a pastoral manager at your different areas, and your key stage lead for you is going to be your key stage lead for year 7 when you join the academy, who are going to be here to support you, and you'll have access to those people every day in the morning, lunchtime, and break time. Thank you. Next, please. Thank you very much. Okay, so what does behavior look like in our academy? Right, so behavior is good in our academy. Our last offset said that our behavior was really, really good. Lessons are not disrupted by low-level disruption or even, more serious disruption. So when you join our school, you're going to be able to have the best opportunities to learn without being interrupted. Okay, and I will explain how this works a bit better later. Our corridors are safe, so we make sure that all of our staff who are in the senior leadership team or in the pastoral team are in the corridors, making sure the transitions run smoothly. And to make sure that the corridors are even safer, we have introduced a new rule this year, which is we ban phones around the school. We've got many reasons for having decided not to use phones on site, but one of them was to make sure that our students are safe in the corridors, attentive to explanations or direction that are given to them, and they're not looking at the phone, walking in the corridor and potentially, bumping into somebody or missing a piece of information. So phones are banned in the corridors, which really increase the safety in our corridors. And our students are supported when they struggle to meet expectations. We have things such as mentoring program or counseling that help students who struggle with the daily demands of behavior for learning on a daily basis. Next slide, please. Right, so I'm not going to go too much in details when it comes to our expectations and our values, but yes, we have very high expectations. I'm going to give you an example. The phones are one of them. Phones are banned across the school. You can't have them on you. It has to be in the bag. It has to be switched off. Okay, and we are making no excuse for a high expectation because that's what allows us to have such a great environment in our school. Uniform needs to look perfect at all times, for example. So we are very prescriptive as to what your uniform needs to look like, how you wear it, and looking very smart in the corridor. Expectations in classrooms as well are very high. That means if someone is disrupting a lesson, the person is removed from that lesson for a period of time, just so they can refocus, and to allow the rest of the students in the class to enjoy the lessons and have a very productive time with the teacher. We also have a great sense of community and pride in our academy. And when you come, and if you come to visit our academy, you will see that. You'll be able to experience that. You'll see some lessons, speak to some members of staff, and you'll see how proud people are to work in our academy. And we really want all of our students, and that's not just a senior leadership team, it is the teachers, the support staff, every single member of staff working at the school wants all of our students to pursue excellence and reach their true potential. Next slide, please. So when we talk about remarkable character, these are all the characters we want our pupils to exhibit during their time at Bexleyheath Academy. So you've got some examples here. Learning eagerly is one of them. Behave with integrity, reflect wisely, demonstrate resilience, work with other people, have confidence, and appreciate independence. I'm going to give you a bit of information about what it looks like to demonstrate those characters. If you could press next, Miss, please. Thank you. So what does that mean to demonstrate resilience? Demonstrate resilience really mean that you are able to overcome your difficulties, for example, and try your best to to find a way to get unstuck, really, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I see that Miss just accelerated, but what I really want to say is we celebrate also your character, and we also are going to there are going to be some surprises for you in terms of getting points and being recognized for what you do that is good. So some also good things are coming your way to celebrate all of your successes. Michelle, do you want me to go and elaborate on remarkable character? Okay, so I'm going to spend a bit more time on this. Right, so what does it mean to reflect wisely? So you are going to be able to reflect on specific circumstances. You're going to be given some questions to think about, some very tricky problems. How are you going to make sure that you make the right decision and judgments? It's something we are going to work with you to develop as well. Working as a group is a very important skill. So cooperate with others. Making sure that you work with other people in your group. That's a character we want you to develop. And don't be scared. We'll tell students exactly what they could do to achieve and demonstrate those characters. Miss, can you press next, please? Here we go. This is what I wanted to talk about because I want to finish on a very exciting note. So so your teachers are going to give you points for your remarkable character. Okay. So every time your teacher gives you a point or recognizes your achievement, you will get, they will send a little, there will be a little system by which you are going to collect your points. So this is what can happen if you have managed to collect a lot of points. 20 points, you get a Q jump. That is a very popular prize because, as you can imagine, our groups are quite big. When you have 300 students in the canteen wanting to buy a snack, and then you get to jump the queue, is a fantastic feeling. And also you get to spend more time on the playground. So that's something that's really, really popular. Now, let's say you manage to collect 40 points. So you get to get gold tickets. So for the people who know, gold is just behind the school. So you get tickets for you and your friends, and you can enjoy a nice a football game in your free time, not during school time, of course. 60 points. We organize something every half term, which we call a secret cinema afternoon. So at school, instead of going to your lesson, and I'm not saying the lessons are not fun here, the lessons are fun, but however, at the end of the term when you're a bit tired, you get to be invited to a secret cinema afternoon if you manage to get 60 points. That means when other people are going to go to their lesson, you are going to be invited in the hall and you are going to watch one of the latest movies, apologies. And you're going to get snacks, and it's really, really fun. Our students absolutely love this prize. Pizza party for 80 points and a surprise trip at the end, generally at the end of the year, for the people who manage to gather 100 points plus. Thank you very much. Miss, can you press next? And we have loads of other prizes or other ways, to collect points. Miss, if you could go to the next slide, please. Miss, could you go to the next slide?
Sorry, Miss, I'm going to come in and literally, I'm having some technical difficulties. For some reason, my screens are all frozen. So yeah, that's why we're kind of stuck on this slide. But Miss, thank you so much for that.
No
so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let parents know once again what that telephone number is. So the telephone number to send in your text messages to is 0777 659 352. Right. Miss Delva, could you go ahead? I'm going to stop presenting. Could you present the PowerPoint from my section, please, if that's okay?
If you just give me 30 seconds for me to find out, and I'll be able to help.
Thank you, Miss.
No problem.
Okay, so Mr. Shaidu is just Mr. Chowdhury is just the two of us in the meantime whilst Miss is getting the PowerPoint up and ready. Parents, if you've just joined us now, I do apologize once again. My screen has frozen, so literally all I can see right now are the characters, and we want you to be part of the presentation. So hence the reason why we're just going to give it maybe a minute for Miss Delva to present her screen. So she's going to carry on presenting because I won't be able to. Sir, do you have anything to put? Maybe have like a bit of an interlude.
Sure. So I'd just like to introduce myself. So good evening, everybody. My name is Mr. Chowdhury. and I'm the assistant principal and key stage lead for year 7 and year 8. I will also be overseeing the transition process as well as the transition program that we have at Bexleyheath Academy. I'll also be overseeing the enrichment program, and I'm really excited to share the extracurricular program that we have in place. And part of that is really in relation to what Miss Delville was talking about, really building that remarkable character in our students. So it's not just about the academic excellence, it's also about the well-rounded sort of student that we want to be developing at Bexleyheath Academy. And I'm really looking forward to sharing that transition program with you very shortly.
Yep, you're on.
Sorry, and I've just come and taken over Miss Shallow's desk, and I know that I probably can't be seen because Miss Shallow's screen is frozen ever so slightly. Technical issues, but who would have thought in the 21st century would have technical issues? There we go. We're there. So I'm going to go ahead and take an opportunity to go through some of the questions that have come in from parents, just so we are crystal clear about the setup of some of our classes. So there are a few questions with regards to setting. So we do set by ability in our core subjects, that's English, maths and science. In our non-core subjects, we do not set. And you might be asking the question, well, how do you make sure that the students that require support have the support, and students that are more able are pushed for their potential? Well, for our non-core subjects, we have 3 strands of the lesson, and more than that, depending on the type for certain students that might be within the classroom. So we have a push yourself strand for our more academically able students. So the teacher will plan something slightly different for those particular students. And for our students that require support, there'll be differentiation. And depending on what the particular need is of that particular child, that differentiation will look very different because that's a personalized provision. Clubs was the next question. We've had loads of questions about clubs. Now, clubs, we have so many different types of clubs that we've got. We've got Warhammer Club, that's run by our local police force on a Friday after school. At lunchtime, we've got Board Game Club. We've got Mental Health Club, Wellbeing Club. We've got I was about to say Cube Club. Did that come up? Yeah, Cube Club. Believe it or not, it's a new trend that's about to come out. That's what my year 7s tell me. But yeah, I've yet to go to that club, but I'll be going tomorrow lunchtime. We have Dissection Club, believe it or not. So dissection quite literally means, and so I think the best description I can do is the other day I had to sign off for 200 eyeballs, and all I can say is that they'll be unpicking those eyes to find out exactly how they work. And it's actually one of my most popular clubs that we have. So our clubs will run at lunchtime and after school. And every term, students will select what the clubs that they would like to try out for the following term. Our expectations for students is that they go to at least one club. And the reason for that, we really push the clubs, is it helps them socialize, it develops their communication skills and broadens their horizons in so many different ways. So for example, if you're going to debate club, for example, your inquiry skills and your oral articulation skills will develop through that particular club. Whereas if you went to cooking club, well, if you're working in a pair, communication is one of them, but also your food preparation skills will be improved as well. So we always think about the clubs and the value that they bring to our individuals. Having a look at your questions again. So there's quite a few questions about SEND, and yes, we do have our inclusion assistant principal that will be part of this conversation. So I'll hold back on any questions to answer with regards to SEND, as I'll be answering those very, very shortly. And now I'm going to be handing over to Miss Shallow, who's going to be talking to you all about our personal development provisions and so forth. Miss, I'm going to hand over to you, and I know that you need to take over the seat right now, so I'll try and do this as seamlessly as possible.
Okay, once again, I'm just looking at my frozen screens, but it's okay. I know you can all see me, you can hear me clearly as well. Right, so my name is Miss Shallow and I'm the vice principal. And my main role in the school is literally school experience, not just for our staff, but for our young people as well. So it's a very exciting role for myself because I am responsible for making sure that our young people come into the academy and they have an experience that is beyond any other school in the borough, so to speak, dare I say. Now, in terms of what we do for personal development, so in our personal development, we've based our personal development curriculum on the 3 strands, so health and well-being, relationship, sex education, and then live beyond. So for live beyond is areas where we'll literally get those young people to learn about, for example, rule of law, tolerance, so our British values such as tolerance, democracy, and we also have segments, a lot of segments on careers as well. So just so you know, every term we have a focus where the young people, especially at Key Stage 3, they get to go through, for example, learn exactly what it takes to work at various different levels or different sectors, say for the NHS or the police, just to give some examples. And then we also look at rights and responsibilities in all different areas. So whether it be to do, governance, as well as rights and responsibilities of young people, whether they're in school or out and about in the local shop centre. We also are a school that we celebrate diversity. So we're very big on that. We literally celebrate every cultural day that we would have as a nation. So for example, in October, we celebrate Diwali. Throughout the month of October, we're going to be celebrating Black History Month. The topics that we cover under relationship sex education, from year 7, the young people will be looking at friendship, understanding different dynamics of friendship or the different types of friendship. We get to teach them about healthy relationships. We teach them about intimate relationships from, say, year 9. We teach them across every single year group. We teach them about bullying and what bullying looks like. We also cover world issues. So, for example, we get the young people to think about current issues that are happening, especially at Key Stage 3, where the young people, Ms. Delva talked about this, the young people are given a character card. On those character cards, we get the young people to go around and talk to members of the school about current affairs, so what they've heard in the news recently. If I move over to health and well-being, our main aspects that we cover on health and well-being is physical health, mental health, offline safety, and online safety as well. So that just gives you a small snippet of what our personal development curriculum looks like across, and we cover it from year 7 all the way through to year 13. In the summer term, what the young people all do is they'll have a drop-down day, and that drop-down day will be based around sex ed. And every single year group, so from year 7 all the way through to, at that point, we only have the year 12s in. They would actually have a day where we have people from outside will come in and then cover special areas about relationship and sex education. Okay, I'll now hand you over. I think I'm going back to, because my screen is frozen, I can't see who I'm passing over to. But Mr. Chowdhury, I'll pass it over to you.
Sure. Right, so my name is Mr. Chowdhury. I'm the assistant principal, Key Stage lead for year 7 and 8, and I'm really delighted to be overseeing the transition process as well as the transition program of events at Bexleyheath Academy. And I'd just like to take this moment now to talk you through those events. Next slide, please, miss. Okay, so our transition program will kickstart next week with open mornings, and we will have a month-long list of open mornings for you, starting from Monday, 25th of September, and going right to the end of that October half term on the Friday, 20th of October. And the timings of that will be from 9 to 1, and you will have a booking slot of 45 minutes where you'll have the opportunity with a member of staff to be able to tour the school, to see the facilities, and also, most importantly, I think, as a parent, really observe the learning that is happening. So visiting the classrooms, speaking to staff as well, and really kind of seeing the remarkable learning experience that students have at Bexleyheath Academy, the remarkable opportunities and the remarkable pastoral care that they have as well. In the month of September as well, on Thursday, 8th of September, there will be a Q&A session with students across Bexleyheath Academy. And I think what better than really getting that student voice and hearing them share their experiences of the school and the transition process for them. And you also have the opportunity for students to ask them questions as well. And that will be next week, Thursday, 5:30 to 6:30. For parents that might not be able to, for some reason, not make the open mornings, there will be a live virtual tour of the academy that we will be uploading onto our website on Tuesday, 3rd of October at 5 p.m. But I'm hoping that all the parents will be taking that opportunity to come to the open mornings, because it will be a month long. So there's going to be a slot that everybody will be able to slot into. We will also have, for our year 6 prospective students, we will also have some workshops and some sessions where it will give you a snippet into what teaching and learning is like at Bexleyheath Academy. And that will kickstart with the PE WOW coaching, which will be an opportunity for you to see a showcase of the remarkable sports coaching that happens in our PE classrooms. And that will be taking place on Thursday, 5th of October from 5:30 to 6:30. The week after that, on Thursday, the 12th of October, we will have our wacky science workshop, and that will be a showcase of some remarkable experiments across all 3 sciences. So that's biology, physics, and chemistry. And again, that will be from 5:30 to 6:30. And it's really an opportunity for prospective students to really see what the learning environment, learning experience will be like at Bexleyheath Academy. Next slide, please, Miss. Okay, so then where you might still have some questions that you want answered, our principal, Miss Lutfer, there'll be an opportunity to pose those questions directly to Miss Lutfer, and that will be happening over half term. And the date and the time for that is yet to be confirmed, but it will be on the school website. We will, towards April and into the spring and the summer term, we will be having masterclasses in English, maths, languages, and the art for our prospective year 6 students. And it's really getting them to experience that lesson structure and what that lesson structure and the learning is like at Bexleyheath Academy through joining the virtual live sessions. And that will be from 5:30 to 6:30 through the course of those months. We will also, for all our year 6 students, have a taster day. And this is an opportunity for students to really experience a typical day at Bexleyheath Academy. And that will be taking place in July. And that will be a whole day thing. Going into the summer holidays, we will have summer school. And that's really an opportunity to support some of our students through the transition process. And we really sort of look at some of our students that might struggle with that transition from primary school to sort of secondary school, where you've got a bigger setting. Also our SEND students and students that might be kind of academically, they might need that support and that booster to transition to year 7. So we really focus on the maths and the literacy, as well as students having that opportunity to socialize with others as well. On to the next slide, please, Miss. So in terms of assemblies, and as Miss Shallow was sharing the PD program to really develop that remarkable kind of character and to support the well-being of students at Bexleyheath Academy, we have weekly assemblies which focuses on really kind of developing students' knowledge and awareness of key events and ideas, and also the world around them. Students learn about key events and ideas linked to British values such as democracy, the rule of law. We also seek to promote diversity actively through students learning about different cultures. Again, as Miss was saying, through Black History Month, learning about different religions and cultures. We also focus on key events such as Armistice Day, also International Women's Day, Pride, Black History Month, World Autism Awareness Day. And I think this really should highlight to you that as a school, we are an inclusive school. Students develop the remarkable character traits required of each student at Bexleyheath Academy. And again, that comes back to acting with integrity, teamwork, independence, resilience, confidence, and reflecting wisely. And it is those character traits that we seek to embed from year 7 right up to year 13. And really, we feel that these will empower our students to make that impact when they leave the doors of Bexleyheath Academy. Next slide, please, Miss. So in terms of the extracurricular program, and again, for us, the extracurricular program is key to developing well-rounded students who are confident, passionate, resilient, and have those excellent social skills. And it's those soft skills that employers look for. Extracurricular clubs really go as I've said, beyond the academic curriculum. At Bexleyheath Academy, we really take an inclusive approach. So we really think about the clubs that we have on offer so that it kind of appeals to a range of students. It's also kind of supporting our SEND students as well and the things that they might also be interested in. So in year 7 and across Key Stage 3, all students are expected to take part in an extracurricular club. And again, that operates at lunchtime. It also happens after school as well. And students will have that opportunity to experience a range of clubs, develop a range of interests, because we rotate extracurricular clubs each half term. On to the next slide, please, Miss. Okay, so you've got there example of some of the extracurricular clubs that we are running this side of half term. So it just gives you a snapshot of, again, the skills that students would be developing at Bexleyheath Academy through the course of this academic year. On to the next slide, please, Miss. Thank you. So on-site tours. So again, as I've said, tours will commence from Monday 25th September to Friday 20th of October. You will be able to book those tours starting from tomorrow. The tours will be released on Sunday, so you'll be able to sort of see the kind of the booking slot that you've got on Sunday. So please do go onto the school website to do that. And again, you've got kind of the phone number there to text any questions that you might have. And I'm now going to pass over to Miss Elliot Graves, who is Assistant Principal and Inclusion Lead as well.
Good evening, everyone. I am very, very glad to be speaking to you this evening and introducing a little bit about special educational needs and inclusion at Bexleyheath Academy. And as Mr. Chowdhury said, I am Miss Elliot Graves. I am the Assistant Principal and Inclusion Lead here. Next slide, please. So Bexleyheath Academy is an inclusive school, and approximately 20% of our school cohort have special educational needs and disabilities. And that makes me feel really happy and excited, because we pride ourselves at being inclusive, and we do welcome all students, including those with special educational needs, to come and develop into remarkable learners. So it isn't just me in the inclusion team. There is a lot of people working hard to support students with special educational needs. So the team for 2024-25, so that's from September, we'll have me as inclusion lead, we'll have a Senko, we'll have 4 learning support assistants supporting students in their lessons, taking them out for targeted interventions, walking around and talking to them, supporting them in their bubbles, in break time and lunch. They will be supporting them in after school interventions and in their clubs as well. We will have a special educational needs and disabilities administrator, because we know that communication with parents and carers and the families of students with special educational needs, as well as outside and external professionals, is absolute paramount when it comes to a student and their family feeling safe, secure, and like they're making good progress in our academy. So with that SEND administrator, we'll be able to have more regular communication and updates. And we also have from this year, and will continue to have next year, 5 student success leaders. And these are teaching staff that are allocated to each academic year group, who supports the students to meet our school's behaviour expectations. We are fully aware that there's a lot of students with special educational needs who require additional support to understand behaviour expectations, to reflect on their own behaviours, and to imagine and create for themselves the steps to meet those expectations. So we're providing them with that extra support, that extra time and space to reflect, so that they can feel the same sense of achievement that all students feel here at Bexleyheath Academy when they are fulfilling our expectations and learning. We follow the Bexleyheath toolkit, which you can access as parents and carers on the Bexley site. So we follow that toolkit as well as the SEND code of practice to first and foremost give students with special educational needs the best quality first teaching in lesson. And this is I just thought I'd share with you a resource created for teachers and for teachers to use and for us to use with parents that has just the few key ways in which we make all of our lessons SEND friendly. So the way in which we like to structure our lessons and to make sure that we are including all students is for teachers to be fully aware of the students with the special educational needs in their lessons and to use these strategies and adapt their learning to them. But also we have an expectation that, for example, timers are used, a quiet environment is maintained, a step-by-step process is taken with checklists so that any student, whether they do have ADHD or ASD or speech, language and communication needs, could enter that lesson and seamlessly be supported with their particular needs. Next slide, please. So we are also aware that students with special educational needs and their families may need a little bit of extra time and support to transition successfully and go through that big change from primary school to secondary. So when you do get that link to book on for your tours, there will be a section to state whether your child has any special educational needs and what these are. So that way we'll be already aware that you may have some questions that we can accommodate as part of the tours. We will also have virtual meetings between families of students with special educational needs and a member of the inclusion team. And that will happen in April and May. So that there is that feeling of communication and families are assured that we know and we're fully expecting the students in September and know what obviously you are experts when it comes to your children. So what you feel that we need to know is passed on directly. There is a transitions day organised by the borough, I'm sure you're already aware of, but I just wanted to restate that there is a primary to secondary transitions meeting where the primary schools are expected to bring all of the information that they hold for the students with special educational needs, and they hand that over to the secondary schools, and we are present there. So do rest assured that if your child is known to have special educational needs in primary, the primary school is responsible to let us know and give us all of the information. You do not yourselves have to chase us up and do it. We will have send students transition days in July, and that will be running alongside all of the transitions events that Mr. Chowdhury went through. And students with special educational needs will be supported through the inclusion team and the teaching assistants, the learning support assistants throughout the summer school. So I really cannot encourage you enough to make sure that you sign up for the summer schools to give your child the best opportunity at getting to know everyone who will support them so they're nice and ready in September and they know the school and they are happy and confident. So once the students will start in September, very quickly, we will hold an open evening in the first half term, which is where we are going to share a lot more information about Year 7 specific special educational needs Year 7 plus specific special educational needs. And it's not so much about a Year 6 to 7 transition, but inclusion in our school more general sets of information. So I believe that is it from me, Miss. I do look forward to speaking to you and meeting all of the students who apply.
Right, so I'm now delighted to pass over to some students at Bexleyheath Academy who will share their experience of their learning at Bexleyheath. So over to our students.
Hello, my name is Lenny and I'm in year 7. I chose BA because I wanted to work hard and become a genius. The teachers are very helpful. The first couple of days, it was hard to find all my different classes, but in a couple of days, it became really easy. If you can't find your class, the older students and teachers will go out of their way to help. I came to summer school at BA and made a lot of friends. It also helped me to feel welcome and comfortable at my new school. I'll pass you on to Molly now.
Hi, my name is Molly. I'm a year 7 student at BA, and I chose BA because it has great teaching, which I was able to see when I joined the virtual subject sessions at BA when I was in year 6. From those sessions, I learned a lot of new things. At BA, I felt very supported. The teachers help you to find your way around because it can be a bit overwhelming as it is much bigger than primary school. I found it easy to ask the teacher for help to find my classroom, and they made me feel comfortable and confident in all my lessons. I'll pass you on to Neve now.
Eve Pearson and I am a year 7 and I've been at BA for a couple of weeks now and I've loved it. The lessons are very interesting. You learn new things every day. I chose BA because they had very nice teachers, a good, efficient way of learning and strict but fair rules. I have got to admit those rules are very useful. My many favourite subjects concluded history, art, English and music. I've learnt things I would never learn in primary school and it's been amazing. My teachers have supported me with all my dreams of being an author. They have helped me with learning and I've stayed behind classes to ask a couple of things and even finish my homework. They helped me in every way possible and now I want to continue learning more and more until I reach my dream goal. That's why I choose BA and why you should too. I will now pass you on to Hamida.
Hello, my name is Hamida and I've been at BA for a few weeks now. Bexleyheath Academy has many different learning strategies to get us on the right track. An example is before every lesson, you have to complete a check-in, which is normally based on what topic you'll be learning about. A personal favourite topic of mine would be maths. Not only do I have an amazing teacher, I enjoy the classes because not all the work is done in books. We also complete a lot of our work on Chromebooks that the school has provided us with for free. It's always a pleasure to be in a maths class. I'll pass you on to Preet.
Hello, my name is Preet Bajwa and I'm a year 7 student at BA. I've enjoyed how caring and fun the teachers have been at BA and how interesting they have made the lessons. I also really appreciate the fact that there's a lot of clubs and activities to do out of school, which lets me do sports that I love, keeps me busy, as well as the chance to make new friends. I'll pass you on to William.
Hi, I'm William and I'm a year 7 student. So far the lessons have been very fun, yet interesting. The first few weeks there was a lot of people getting lost, but the teachers have helped us and I've already made 2 great friends and the school has been really fun so far. Passing on to Asha.
My name is Asha. I'm in year 10, and I believe this is a great, inclusive, and modern school. I've been supported with my disabilities and my learning greatly. The teachers and staff strive for you to do well, so make sure to ask them for help when you need it. The use of Chromebooks is one of the many ways BA is modern and has helped us learn more efficiently. It can also help us be creative. For example, I made a beat on a website called Soundtrap for my music lessons. One of my favorite subjects here at BA is drama because it drove me out of my comfort zone, made me more confident, and made me express myself more. I think this is a very advanced school and you will learn very efficiently here. On to Gracie.
Hi, my name is Gracie and I'm a Year 10 student at BA. I chose BA because it encouraged me to work hard and it has good reviews. My support here at BA has been great, being provided with a counsellor, Miss Ailing, and a pastoral manager, etc. They provide you with help and further referrals to accommodate your needs. The transition between primary schools can be scary, but the teachers at BA provide extra help for the new years. Teachers support your academic progress by providing learning handicaps to enhance your learning progress to those who may need it. My favourite subject is history, as it is very interesting and educates us about the past. Plus, you get the coolest history teachers ever. At BA, BA will indeed help you shape your future remarkable career.
Okay, so thank you so much to our students, and I hope that you can kind of see from them sharing their experiences what an inclusive school that we are, and also how we look to really develop students in terms of being well-rounded, providing that remarkable academic experience, but also developing that remarkable character as well. Miss, do we have time for questions?
So can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. I can't hear you, but just to let you know, sir, the system is actually, because it's 7 o'clock, so the school system is shut down. And what Miss Luther has done is she's actually read the questions, the majority of the questions that we've had. And then what we'll be doing is from next week, when we have our question sessions with the young people, any question that we get by text, we'll be addressing those questions as well.
Fine.
Is that okay?
Great. Awesome. Thanks, Miss.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I really hope this evening was very informative for you. As always, if you need any further information and you have further questions, use that number. But we'll have many, many more events, and we'll be able to support you with any questions or concerns that you would like to ask to help with. Thank you very much, and have a lovely evening, everyone. Bye.